Hi guys, welcome back to Thoughts by Sheens. If you watched my previous video, you'd have seen where I spoke about forgiveness and moving on. That video was with my dad. It was a very good conversation. We got so much from that conversation and we're actually at a better place now, as you guys saw in the video. So our next topic will be she versus me. Correcting negative perceptions with positive interactions. That's pretty much what we're going to discuss today. So I'm going to give you my thoughts on this topic, so be sure to leave your thoughts in my comment section below. She versus me is pretty much people's perception of you versus who you really are. And for me, it's usually something that I go through a lot. I'm assuming other persons would too. This perception of who I am versus who I am. So persons usually form a perception of you based on different things. Maybe it's a conversation that they had with someone, that you had with someone. So it comes from a different angle all the time. However, what is important is that you work on you or work on me versus working on she. She is what everybody else wants to think that you are. However, me is the person that is most important. You're working on becoming a better version of me in an effort to correct the negative perceptions of she. Making me the priority is one of the things that I tend to concentrate on a lot. As I said, trying to work on becoming a better version of myself, a better version of me, so that I can produce that better version to the persons that are around me. The interactions that I have will become more positive, more beneficial, building positive relationships, trying to correct emotional behaviors that we have or emotional flaws, and just pretty much just working on us rather than concentrating on what everybody else thinks about us. Not everyone will love you. That's a given. Not everyone will agree with you. Not everybody will agree with what it is that you're doing. However, you have to concentrate on pleasing you and living in your authenticity. So what I want you guys to do is work more on me versus she. She is what everybody thinks. Everybody will have their story to tell. Everybody will have their version of who they think you are. Everyone will pretty much attempt to create that person who they think you are based on their interaction or based on somebody else's interaction. However, what's most important is working on me, figuring out who you are, figuring out who you want to be, and concentrate on that. When you do that, then everything else will fall into place. Persons who see the real you will appreciate the real you, will love the real you, as opposed to persons who are assuming who she is. It's already pressuring to live up to the responsibilities or to live up to who she is, because everybody wants you to do this way. However, if it is that you just concentrate on being yourselves, living in your truth, accepting your flaws, correcting what you can, then of course that person, me, will become who you really are and will become the person who you want to be. And then the persons who love you, the persons who support you, the persons who know who you are will accept you for you, as opposed to attempting to fix or attempting to become she. One of the other things is learning to tell your own story. That is something that I figured out quite some time ago. Leaving your story for someone else to tell usually doesn't turn out too well, because half of the time persons who are telling your story usually leave out the good parts and concentrate on the bad parts. It all depends on who exactly is telling your story, and telling your story is pretty much telling somebody else who you are. If it is that you work on telling your own story, getting your voice out there, ensuring that your interactions are authentic, ensuring that the relationships that you're building are good relationships, then you wouldn't have to worry about what everybody else is thinking about you, because at the end of the day, your story is your story, and then it's pleasing yourself and living within your truth and just being you. Pretty much, that's what I want to emphasize. Being you is very, very important, because a lot of times we tend to get caught up in attempting to be someone else, or attempting to live up to who other persons want us to be. And when you do that, then you're not living your life to the fullest, and you're not living at all, because you're attempting to work on just creating this person for everybody else to accept, and then at the end of the day you're not even sure who you are anymore. So I hope from today we all try to work a little bit harder on being ourselves, work on living our truth, work on being authentic, work on just loving us and who we are, so that the persons will appreciate that, or people will appreciate who you are in its entirety. A lot of times persons' opinion is based on somebody else's interaction with you versus their interaction. A lot of times people say they don't like you and they've never met you, they've never spoken to you before. However, someone else they've interacted with had an interaction with you, and they don't even maybe know the levels of that interaction in its entirety, but they form a perception based on that interaction. So concentrating on you is what's most important, and then your genuine interaction will make you you. So correcting negative perceptions with positive interactions. What do I mean by that? It is not necessarily attempting to become who everybody thinks you are or everybody wants you to be. However, it's pretty much evaluating yourself, attempting to recognize the flaws and fixing those. And once it is that we're doing that, then the interactions will become positive and the interactions will become better. So a personal experience of mine, in a leadership role, sometimes we have to ensure that we are providing guidance or holding persons accountable for whatever it is that they should be doing, or whatever it is that we need them to do. And an example of perceptions will come along this line. I've experienced it. For instance, in leadership role, I have to hold persons accountable. Hence, I'll have to have conversations with these persons. Sometimes stern conversations, sometimes strong conversations that may not go well with them. And then they form a perception of who they think I am based on the fact that I'm holding them accountable or I'm addressing the issue in a particular way. Having new persons come on board without even interacting with me, they now may communicate their perception of me based on their experience with me, and then this person now takes that on and now have that perspective of who they think I am without a personal interaction with me. So that for me is something that I have to balance in terms of understanding that everybody's perception does not define who I am. So it is pretty much based on somebody else's interaction or conversations with someone. However, what I need to work on, or what I do, or what I work on, is ensuring that my authentic self, who I am, is portrayed generally. So when I do have an interaction, or even if I don't, then this is consistent, and then eventually persons will see who I am. And if it is that they don't, that's not something that I will dwell on, because I already know who I am. Okay guys, so these are my thoughts on this particular topic. Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe. So come back next week to see what we have in store.